The point is, the disease owns your body. You don't own your body anymore.
Coby, how did you find Carnivore?
I found Carnivore for 19 months ago, or more than 19 months ago. I had a bladder infection, a very bad one. So I could not eat. I drank a lot. I knew that I had parasites, and I already when COVID hit and I got COVID very badly, parasites came out and I took pictures of it, but my MD did not want to invite me because they were afraid of COVID. And so I sent him the pictures, and he said, "Oh, that are parts of your body." But I thought, with my naked eye, what I saw was really something else. So this was a few years later. And I thought, well, I feel so ill. This must be the base of having those parasites. I started looking on the internet and I started looking to keto. Everybody is doing that. And then a week later, I saw Carnivore. And I started doing that. And then I got in contact with a doctor who was also did also work in the tropics, and he gave me the right things, the right medicine, and that was a great relief. I kept doing carnivore, and it's also doing carnivore with a rough is also a rough road, because you have to get rid of a lot of things, going from sugar to fat burning, but also all those oxalates coming out, because I was years before that I was a vegan, and I had severe cancer, lymphoma cancer in 2015, and I really was walking over the edge of death. And my oncoloog, she told me I did not have to come 1 day later or 2 days later, because then they could not help me anymore. So I got a very, very heavy chemo from a half a year. But when I got the chemo, I was the first one who got the injection in the morning, and I was the last one leaving the hospital. So it was a very heavy one. And then they told me that they saw on the pictures, when they made pictures of me, that I had a glandular fever. The strange thing was that in my youth, in my teenage years, I think I was 19 years old. They thought that I was overworked. And my mother was very glad that I was overworked, because she was also in a psychological hospital. And then she was not the only one. And but she did not send me to the doctor, and I did not know either. So now it came out that that was what happened, because, and it made me very insecure then, because I thought I'm crazy, but it was that. I was just very, very, very tired
The
then.
glandular fever.
Yes. But after that cancer time, I had I told told my husband that I never want to have chemo again. then I'll rather die, because that was something that stood like a rock for me. But I did not know why I got cancer, because for me, I was thinking I was eating very healthy. I had my own vegetable garden. I grew my fruits and my vegetables on the permaculture way. So in the summertime, we ate from the garden, and but I also was a vegan. And now, with the knowledge that I have now, I know that when you are a vegan, you eat 70 till 75% sugar. And sugar is the feeding ground for cancer. And I think what I understand now, that toxins are the start of the cancer. And in plants are many toxins. And I didn't know that. And because I grew up with normal Dutch way of eating until my teenage years. And then my mother started to cook macrobiotic. Yeah, so it's not vegan, but vegetarian. My sister and I started to, because it was our teenage years, we started to have heavy bleedings and in our periods, and also lots of pain. And we never had the connection to that. But now I understand that. So it has a lot of impact on your female hormones. And my sister had it so bad and so much pain that it looked like she was getting a baby. So we were all in panic around her. Yeah, one time it was very, very bad. And so we were all in panic around her, what to do. And in so much pain she was. And so that's not fun. The strange thing is that when your mother says something like that, you think that's healthy. And I thought I'm healthier than anybody else around me as a teenager. But I was farting a lot, and really smelly farts. So I had one time, it was very funny because a boy in the back of me in the class, so we were sitting in the back of the class, and he was sitting behind me, and he was teasing me. He was pulling me on the hair and that. And then I've never had such a fart, and it was like a stinking bomb. And then I always was very, very, I felt very terrible about it. But then it never smelled like that. And then I had really a great laugh. So then it was a positive thing. I was off and on vegetarian and normal eating because I went to Bible school at 18 years. And then I had an internship. So I ate what everybody ate. But I always was thinking, oh, when I'm on myself again, then I will cook healthy. So, and also when you have a child, you want to cook healthy. And I early found out that that my son was autistic. So I tried to cook as healthy, and I stopped sugar because I knew he was reacting on that very much. And also all kinds of processed things. So I bought brown rice, And I was always proud of myself, because when I was in the supermarkets, everybody else was putting all their junk in. And I thought I put very good things in it. But now I know differently. And I also read books about that. And I also read a book, The Genesis Diet. Do you know that? Yeah. And okay. And later on, I wanted to eat more kosher. So we only, but kosher meat is very, very expensive. And now the kosher butcher is not anymore there in Amsterdam. So, but very expensive. So I only bought that meat on feast days, because I could not afford it. And the other days I made mung bean burgers and all that kind of thing. So I made everything myself as much as possible. But I was hours and hours in the kitchen making all kinds of stuff to be healthy. And I made also water kefir and milk kefir. And now I understand that we have problems with histamine. And so when you fermentate things, it is making things worse. And I thought we need good bacteria and all those things. And buying good bacteria in pills is very expensive too. So and I used a lot of stevia. And the stevia, because I wanted a little bit to treat our son, So I put it in the kefirs. And but the stevia is making your insulin higher, 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 because your tongue tastes sweet. Your brain thinks, oh, we have to make insulin because there's sugar, but there is no sugar. So we became both insulin resistant by that. And also with Carnivore, it was heavy to leave the stevia off. So slowly, being Carnivore, you learn and learn. And so it's now only beef and lamb and water. And we also do not do any more eggs, because I think I have a reaction to that too. What happened when I became a carnivore, my chronic pain, and that was 24/7 pain, went immediately away. That will not say that I don't have pain anymore, because lately I have pain in my hip. But I can handle that with normal painkillers, paracetamol.
You've been doing this for 19 months.
Yeah,
Chronic pain has gone away. 24/7 pain has gone
yeah.
away. How are you eating these days?
Momentarily, I did a lot of fasting. It became very natural for me. You are already in ketones, so you easily slide into it. But I never dared to do it before, because I was feeling. So you get more feeling for your body when you're carnivore. I was feeling I don't have enough nutrients. And I heard also a clinic talk about that, who is also leading people into fasting, and they don't do it with people that are too fragile. Let's say it like that. And so I was feeling now, after 1.5 years, I can do this and I'm ready for this. So I started fasting, and then after 5 days, I wanted to eat again. But my body was saying no, and was not feeling good about eating. So I got a very bad reaction, and also um, I was during fasting. I was having diarrhea, but also yellow and orange. So my body was getting rid of a lot of poison. That I knew, and my body did not want to stop because it's like a switch. It's switched the other side around, and then it wants to get rid of it. So, and I think that's my logic behind it. I think my body was saying no, 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 not now, and so I do it really, really um, feeling. So lately, I also fasted for 7 days, but then I really got hungry and knew now I have to eat. So, and yesterday I fasted one day, and I think this afternoon I will eat. And oh no, no, yesterday evening I had some cold meat from the fridge. No, I'm wrong. So I do it by feeling. Now I'm hungry. Now I want to eat, but not any more strict times of eating. No more. The goal is to do one meal a day.
So if you feel like eating breakfast, you'll have breakfast. But then if you're not hungry for the rest of the day, you just won't eat anything. And then the next day, you might not eat until dinner time or something like that.
Yeah, but I mostly
Yeah.
don't eat in the morning because then I want to drink a lot of water. And I love water now. I enjoy it very, very much. And I like it hot. I like it cold. I like it on room temperature, and it all tastes differently to me. And what I also really like in the morning is Soleil in my water. And Soleil is you find a recipe on the internet. It's Celtic sea salt, and you mix it with water and you let it stand a long time, and then you take 1 teaspoon of it and you fill your cup with water, and it tastes very, very nice to me. And I take it together with the calcium, the kalium, oh no, the potassium and the magnesium. um, and I don't hear other carnivores talk about it, but also calcium is one of the electrolytes. And I, because I don't hear about it, I did not take it. And I thought there is enough calcium in our water because we have a lot of calcium in our water. But now I Googled it, and the calcium in the water you don't digest somehow. So I thought I had enough. But last year I got heart, the speeding of my heart. I thought, what is the matter with me? But I did not want to go to hospital because I also had it after I had cancer. And then you go to hospital and they see nothing. But when your heart rate is going up, that's also a sign of a calcium shortage.
Now that you've sorted out the electrolytes, everything's okay with your heart and stuff.
No, it's still there, but I I know because of my arthrosis. Former year in the wintertime, I crocheted a blanket for my son. I could not finish it because my fingers are too painful. And that's also very interesting for me as a knitter and a crocheter, because looking at the Shetland Islands, where people could knit more than 3 knits a second. And I think I knit maybe 1 knit a second, that's very fast. And they worked on a shawl, a lace shawl, for 6 weeks. And then they sold it. But they started also knitting for people outside the Shetlands because they did not have any money. They were living from, men were going at sea and fishing, women were spinning and knitting. They were so good in that art. And also, they were that poor, they could only live from the land. Because when you don't have money, you cannot import. So they were eating lamb, beef, and fish. But they didn't have vegetable gardens because the weather is very harsh there. So when they recognized that they could sell their products, the women started knitting and knitting. And because they could knit that fast, and if you think, it only can happen with Carnivore. And then they got richer and richer, so they could buy food from Scotland and England and let ships come in, because they could sell their products. Also, the ships were going out to sell their products. So then trade was starting for them. And then they started to eat also more the things that we eat. And I think because now people in Shetland are still knitting, but they are not that fast anymore. And my husband was a DTPer, desktop publishing, and he had repetitive strain injury, and he could not do a lot of things anymore because of that. And a lot of people have that around us. And only the fact that you see more and more people with glasses, like me, and also children, is because of the sugar. I think that's the link that I put. So I'm very, very glad about what I know now. And I lost now 50 pounds. And that's very, very, very nice, because it's very nice for a woman to lose weight. I think for a man too. But all those fat cells, the poison that is in it, that the poisons go out. And I think we will feel better and better after years, because everything is getting more normal for your body. Yeah, I also told you that when I had such pain, I didn't want to take those painkillers anymore, because they were very, very heavy, and I got very high of it. And I did not like that. But I took every night a little wine. But that's also not good. But it was the only moment to go to sleep that my muscles would relax. It was, so I took that. And when I stopped eating the way I did and started Carnivore, it was over. I did not take it anymore. We only take it when we do communion with each other. That's it. And then I take also a little bread. But further, I'm not longing for it, nothing. And before, it was, I need to have that little wine to get a little bit relaxed.
Yeah, I know that feeling very well. So are your husband and your son joining you on this?
My husband is now joining. So my son started a week later than I, and my son is having autism, and also he developed schizophrenia in his teenage times. So that was a very, very difficult time. And because you see, you know your child, you know him, you know his character and everything, and it's all getting under the schizophrenia. So it's like a zombie in the house, and it's so terrible. You we both as parents, we went in mourning because you lose your son to the schizophrenia. And and our son also told me, it will never become good with me again, mama. I said, it will become good with you because, and why? He said, why? Because God is here, and God is good, and God is going to take care of you. So I know it will be right. It will be getting okay. And it's getting, now with Carnivore, it slowly gets okay. More and more. And you see him come out. And you see his humor coming back. You know? And that's very important, to have humor. And my husband, I think 1.5 weeks ago, he had things on his balls that were not there before. So he told me, afraid of cancer. And I said, Carnivore, go Carnivore. And I preached to him a lot about Carnivore. And he also is seeing the difference in us. And I'm not there again. I'm not there. I don't claim to be. I have to learn a lot, and there has to be repaired a lot in me. That is what I know. But he is watching that, and so I said, you have to cut out sugar. And so he started. And it has to be a slow process. So he's eating vegetables only. So he's slowly, because I don't hope he's getting oxalate dumpings. And but it is not cancer. It's our, we call it kystes, cysts.
Yeah.
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 But I hope he will go on doing this, because he's very sugar dependent, and he formerly he was also shaking, I have to eat something, so that's not a good sign. And yeah, and it's also very, very funny, because in last May, we were on vacation, and then you are in a restaurant, and you also want to drink cappuccino. And so I started to drink cappuccino again. And when you start with it, you don't stop. But that little bit of milk, after weeks, I got pain in my knees again. And I did not have it. And I knew it's that 5% of carbohydrates in the milk. So I stopped again.
It comes back so quickly and with
Yeah.
such force, right?
Yeah. It's differently for every carnivore. That's what it is. But it's important that you recognize, oh, this is the matter, and I have to change that, because it's not good for my body. And so we don't have to judge one another if we are good carnivores or not. But this is what my body is telling me.
Very, very nice, and glad everyone's on board. What about people around you? Are people around you ever interested in, why do you only eat steak? Or that kind of thing?
Um, a lot of people are getting angry about it. Yeah, and saying that I don't take good care of myself. And yeah, it's very difficult to explain, but time will tell. And one friend of mine was sitting in a wheelchair, and she had a lot of weight. I started to talk with her about it, and she got carnivore, and she is so glad about it. Yeah, and she is losing a lot of weight, and it's not about only about the weight, but getting weight on is a disease. Is It's not comfortable. Disease is not comfortable, and uh, the point is, the disease owns your body. You don't own your body anymore. But when you get your health slowly back, then you have something. I have my body back, you know, and that is the most important thing, because you can give yourself better to other people. Because when you are ill, you don't go out, you are not that outgoing, and you cannot help other people, and it's that is not fun. It's
Yeah.
not fun.
I like the expression, you have to fill your cup up before you fill anyone else's up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, very
Yeah.
important, and that's also now why I want to talk about it. So important that you get the information, and if you don't want to do it, it's okay, but that you get the right information, because our world is so full of propaganda, so full of it, and it's so difficult to find the right information. And yeah.
Speaking of that, how is the atmosphere in the Netherlands with plant-based versus animal-based? Like, is plant-based being pushed a lot by the government?
Yeah, yeah, it's the same here. It's very hard, because we know they want to forbid animal foods. We know it, and and I now go to a slaughterhouse, so not a butcher, but a slaughterhouse, and I can get cheap meat, and it's more fresh, because it do not go to the shop. They sell it directly. So, and that is also what I understood, because I directly put it in the freezer. Um, and that's also what I understood from histamine problems, that it also can give a problem in the meat, because when you store it too long. But also when I buy it by the butcher house, by the slaughterhouse, no additives, nothing, and I see the meat, and I can say I want that piece, and yeah, that's that. It's like being in a sweet shop, with all kinds of sweets. So it's I'm always full of laughter there. And they think that that I have a restaurant or something, but I don't. We all eat it ourselves.
So, do you have a pretty big freezer? You can store a lot in,
No,
you can store it in bulk?
no, but I have to reorganize my freezer, and I'm watching now after the house of my Italian neighbors, and they went to holiday in Italy, and they had a empty freezer, and I could put extra meat in there, and slowly I'm going to reorganize my freezer so that I only put meat in it and don't have other things in it. And then I think I can do for a week. And I also have for my dog and my cat fresh meat in there. And because they eat raw meat, like in nature. Yeah.
Nice. So if a friend came to you and said, I want to start carnivore, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, like I do with my husband. Start slowly. Slowly eating less bread, because we eat a lot of bread here in the Netherlands. Eat less bread and then stop with it, and keep eating vegetables. But my husband already started to eat vegetables with a low oxalate, because he had his stones had to come out. So he had a lot of pain, and we do not want that to happen again. So he eats some oxalates, and then we will slowly get him, if he wants to, get him off the veggies. And it's very hard for him, because um, he's he loves sugar. And it's don't talk about the sugar in the pot, but I talk about carbohydrates. And also that is a really hard process to go through. And also you have a lot of sugar in your cells, and sugar holds water. So, and you slowly have to go from sugar to salt, because salt also holds the water in your body. He could not eat salt because his dietitian told him so, because of his kidneys. It has to be a slow transition. So I also would advise that to people who would ask me about carnivore.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone that criticizes carnivore because it's too restrictive? How would you answer that?
Um, I would say being ill is more restrictive. So, and getting ill, I would advise start young and keep on doing it. Because I think when you're young, it's easier to glide into carnivore than when you are older and you have a lot of history with bad foods.
Coby, do you have any way people can reach out to you? Do you have any social media or anything?
Um, yes, I have a YouTube channel. It's also called Coby Teunen, but I have more things about on it uh, with faith and singing and making music and that kind of thing. But you can also reach me by my name and then at gmail.com.
Sure. So I'll
Yeah.
link to those in the
Yeah.
description. Um, Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, Coby. I
Oh,
really
thank
appreciate your
you.
time.
Thank you. You are doing such a great job.